Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Sandra Ferdinando.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
The headlines on Newsfirst.
US lifts sanctions, allows Iran 60-day crude oil sales. Protest erupts in Parliament over judicial issues. Adunetti explains cause behind parliamentary tensions. Special dengue control operation to launch tomorrow. Salary commission proposed for state sector employees. Messi.
The United States waived sanctions on Iran for 60 days from Monday after the first talks under a nascent peace deal, with US President Donald Trump saying he will, quote-unquote, do what I have to do if Iran does not stick to its side of the agreement.
US Vice President J.D. Vance said talks with Iranian officials in Switzerland had laid a good foundation for a final peace deal, but Iran denied it had begun discussions on its nuclear program or agreed to invite International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors back to the country. Now, Viara Virakon brings us more.
Sandhu and Naveksha. Now, Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghei said Iranian officials had not held a meeting with the International Atomic Energy Agency chief Rafael Grossi in Switzerland and had no plans for the UN nuclear watchdog to inspect Iran's damaged nuclear facilities. Now, mediators Pakistan and Qatar said the two sides are trying to build on the interim deal they signed last week after more than 3 months of war, agreed a roadmap towards a permanent agreement within 60 days at the talks in the Swiss mountain resort of Birkenstock. Now, US President Donald Trump says there will be no further US naval blockade if the Strait of Hormuz, insists Iran has agreed to allow nuclear inspections despite statements from Iranian officials that it has not done so.
In the first of several steps envisaged under the agreement to provide economic relief to Iran, the US Treasury announced a waiver until the 21st August on sanctions allowing Tehran to sell oil and related products and receive payment for them. Ali Bahraini, Iran's ambassador to the United Nations in Geneva, said good progress had been made in the talks and that 2 working groups would be established in coming days to focus on the removal of sanctions and Iran's nuclear activities. Officials reported a sustained lull in fighting in Lebanon under the agreement aimed at ending hostilities across the region, even as Israel said it would maintain a security zone in southern Lebanon and continue to act to neutralize threats against Israeli soldiers and citizens. Israel and Lebanon were due to start a new round of talks in Washington today. Tanker traffic through Hormuz started to pick up on Monday, with the Foreign Minister of Oman affirming his country's commitment to international law and toll-free safe passage during negotiations with Iran over administering the strait. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf met and held talks with the Sultan of Oman, Haytham bin Tariq, in Muscat to discuss bilateral relations and the latest developments in the region. Ghalibaf and his accompanying delegation held talks with the Sultan of Oman in Muscat on arrangement related to the management of the strategic Strait of Hormuz as the main topic of the discussion. Early on this day, Ghalibaf met and held talks with the Omani Foreign Minister Saeed Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi. Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, accompanied by Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, left Tehran for Muscat, the capital of Oman, on Monday afternoon.
In local news, the opposition collective is calling for an immediate reduction in fuel prices. Now, this group, which operates without the participation of the main opposition party in parliament, that is the Samagi Jana Balawegya, has been meeting at various locations over the past few days in an effort to build a strong opposition force. However, the Samagi Jana Balawegya is not a part of this group.
Who is most suitable to lead opposition politics?
The People's Joint Opposition states that fuel prices in Sri Lanka must be reduced in light of the ongoing easing of tensions in the Middle East conflict. Although several parties representing the opposition collective were present at the media briefing, the Samaga Jana Balawegaya did not take part.
We made an appeal to the International Monetary Fund not to instruct the government to reduce or completely remove fuel subsidies provided to the general public. If such measures are implemented, the cost of living would rise to unbearable levels. Our people are already under immense pressure and would simply not be able to withstand further increases. This was a timely discussion as officials from IMF headquarters in Washington are scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka in just 2 days. The meeting was very fruitful and we are satisfied with the outcome. As the joint opposition, we have every right under the Constitution to inform the public and to engage in dialogue on these matters.
With another group emerging outside Parliament as a people's opposition, the question arises as to who is carrying out the role of the opposition within Parliament. The matter was addressed in Parliament today by the Leader of the House, Bimal Ratnayaka. This followed a debate that took place in Parliament earlier today. And during today's proceedings, the roles played by Dr. Harsha De Silva and Dasri Jayasekara stood out prominently.
A group of opposition MPs behaved in this manner in Parliament today, demanding solutions to the structural issues that have emerged within the judicial sector. A letter signed by opposition MPs was handed over to the Speaker this morning, stating that Parliament must intervene to resolve these issues. The opposition MPs who arrived in Parliament today insisted that a debate on their proposal be held today itself.
20 members have risen in support of this proposal. Accordingly, Honourable Speaker, it has become essential and urgent to hold a discussion on the serious issues that have arisen regarding the administration of justice in this country. Therefore, there is a possibility of allocating 2 hours under Standing Order 19 after the scheduled debate today.
We received their proposal this morning. However, as you know, matters relating to delays in court cases and judicial appointments are not decided solely by Parliament. In the past, attempts were made to bring judges before committees, claiming that judicial power lies with Parliament. These are extremely serious matters. We are a government with a 2/3 majority. You must consider what would happen if we also followed that line of thinking. Instead of holding another debate, I request that we proceed to a vote. You have 20 members standing and we express our opposition.
දැන් මේ විනිශ්චයකාරුන් පත් කරන්න නැතුව ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව උල්ලංඝනය කරන ජනාධිපතිතුමා මේ විනිශ්චයකාරුන්ගේ අවුරුදු දෙකකින් කාලය දික් කරන්න ආණ්ඩුව කටයුතු කරමින් යනවා. මේවා තමයි මේ රටේ මේ අධිකරණයට කරන බලපෑම. මේක ගැන අපිට කතා කරන්න බැරි නම් කාටද කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්?
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සභාවේ කටයුතු පිළිබඳව යම්කිසි වාදයක් තිබෙනවා නම් ඊටාම පැහැදිලිව මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට පුළුවන් තීන්දුව කරන්න. ඒ නිසා ඒ පිළිබඳව අපි ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා ඡන්දයක්. ඔබතුමාලා 20ක් නැගලා ඉල්ලන්නේත් ඒක තමයි.
ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණ අධ්‍යාචනාධිකරණ විනිසුරුවන්ගේ විශ්‍රාම යෑමේ ඒ වයස් දීර්ඝ කිරීම අවසර දෙකකින් මේ වගේ කටයුතු වලින් අධිකරණයේ ස්වාධීනත්වයට මරු පහරක් එල්ල වෙනවා.
ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේ ප්‍රධාන කටයුතු අද ප්‍රමුඛ ස්ථානය ගන්නවා. ඒ නිසා මේක රීති විරෝධී ගරු විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා රීති විරෝධී අපි විවාද කිරීමට ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේ අද දින ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේ කටයුතු තමයි අද දින ප්‍රමුඛ ස්ථානය ගන්නේ.
Amid opposition protests, the main business scheduled for today in Parliament commenced, while opposition MPs continue to behave disruptively inside the chamber. During this exchange, a group of opposition MPs moved into the well of the House. This was the announcement when MPs attempted to seize the ceremonial mace.
We have nearly 20 years of experience in this parliament. When in opposition, people cross over to the government side and even their court cases shift along with them. There have been instances where MPs have effectively auctioned their position to protect their cases. There have been individuals in this parliament who had dealings with the underworld. This parliament has even debated for 24 hours and sent home a Chief Justice after midnight. That is the dark history we carry. As you claim, judges have been influenced and even assassinated when outcomes were not favorable. Laws were shaped and decisions manipulated to suit individuals. But that situation does not exist today. Today, MPs cannot switch sides to change the course of their cases. That is why some may feel trapped. Now we see many trying to create drama in the media. Their agitation is driven by the fear of impending lawsuits. Honorable Deputy Speaker, while I may not know, the accused know exactly what the outcome of their cases will be. That is why they try to show society that they are being politically targeted, that arrests and court proceedings are acts of revenge. They claim they are innocent and are being punished for raising their voices for the people. The judicial process must become even more active. More special courts should be established if necessary to hear cases. Delays in trials must not continue. These cases should not be dragged on. The people of this country carry justified anger and resentment over tax fraud, corruption, theft, and the looting of public funds. There is pain among the public about these crimes. There is an expectation that even those who have fled the country must be brought back and justice served. That expectation will be fulfilled by the President. We hear claims that the rule of law has collapsed, democracy has been lost, judges are not being appointed, and that the government is taking revenge on opponents. These are narratives being pushed in the hope of gaining political advantage and bringing down the government. But that will not happen.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතාගෙන ඉන්න එහෙම දෙයක් වුණොතින් අපේ දේශපාලන වාසියක් ලැබිලා මේන් කියලා ආණ්ඩුව වැටෙයි කියලා. ආණ්ඩුව ජනතාව බාර දෙයි කියලා. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Dayasri Jayasekara led the members of parliament who were protesting inside the well of parliament. In addition, Minister Bima Ratnayake expressed his views regarding another opposition leader. While Deputy Minister Nishant Jayavir was commenting on the amendments to the Value Added Tax Act, which was among the main agenda items scheduled for today, Dr. Harshudha Silva stood up in protest. The following debate ensued.
Amidst the ongoing hardships faced by the people of the country, the Honourable President and the Cabinet have made a decision. A proposal that was in this budget estimate to reduce it from 60 million to 36 million is being withdrawn here, and steps are being taken to withdraw it at this moment.
Honourable Speaker, this matter was not presented to the Committee on Public Finance. Therefore, the Committee on Public Finance has not given its approval regarding this. Today, they are talking about something entirely different. You and all of us know that approval from the Committee on Public Finance must be obtained before bringing this to Parliament. What is being said here is a completely different story. Right now, they are saying it should be reduced to 36 and to keep it at 60.
The
Parliament is the body with public finance control. Parliament will approve. If the Parliament approves, it will go forward. The Honourable...
හරි එහෙමනම් මේ කොමිටි වහන්න. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ මොන කෙහෙල් මල්ටද කොමිටි තියෙන්නේ? මොන කෙහෙල් මල්ටද කොමිටි තියෙන්නේ?
The complete control of this parliament has not been handed over to the Committee on Public Finance. He probably wants to put on a better show than his leader and use this as a political platform. We won't fall for that, alright? That is what has happened to him. Honourable Speaker, what has happened today is that the leader of the opposition has several leaders within his own party who do not accept his leadership.
As a result of continuous disruptions to parliamentary proceedings, the Speaker decided to adjourn Parliament for 10 minutes.
Britain will soon have its 5th Prime Minister in 4 years, or the 7th in almost a decade. Starmer, a softly spoken former human rights lawyer, had been hailed as a pragmatic and serious leader who could restore stability after years of political chaos and infighting that resulted in 2 changes of Prime Minister by the right-wing Conservative Party after the 2019 general election. But although he was elected with the biggest parliamentary majority in 100 years, there was a sense even among Labour supporters that Starmer lacked political nose and conviction.
Why he stepped down? Can this incident serve as an example for country's politics as well?
In one of the world's oldest and strongest democratic systems, the recent frequent changes of prime ministers in the United Kingdom may at times be viewed by the outside world as a sign of political instability. However, looking at British political history, it is not uncommon for leaders to step down for valid reasons and in response to public opinion. In 2016, David Cameron resigned after the public voted against his position in the referendum on leaving the European Union. In 2019, Theresa May stepped down voluntarily when she was unable to secure parliamentary approval for her proposed deal, choosing not to push the country further into crisis. In 2022, Boris Johnson and Liz Truss resigned from their posts amid a collapse of confidence within their own party and serious issues surrounding economic policy, prioritizing national stability. Although elected with the largest parliamentary majority in a century, there remained a perception even among Labour supporters that Keir Starmer lacked political judgment and trust. Eventually, members of parliament and cabinet ministers within the Labour Party he represented exerted pressure on the Prime Minister to step down. Following the poor results in the local government elections held in May, concerns grew over the party's future electoral prospects, leading to increased pressure on the leader to resign. In his resignation statement, Keir Starmer said he accepts with respect and willingness the answer given by his party to the question of whether he is the right person to lead them into the next general election.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace.
Even 24 hours after the incident, what lessons can our country's politics draw from this? Especially in a country where political parties are often passed down from generation to generation, from father to son. Does this not offer an important moment of reflection on what true public democracy really means? Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, is stepping down. He faced pressure within his party to resign, with members saying his services were no longer needed. According to British tradition, the Prime Minister announced his resignation. Now, in Sri Lanka, figures like Sajid Premadasa, Ranil Wickremesinghe and Namal Rajapaksa often speak about the British Parliament, British parties and democracy. But what do they actually practice? Do they listen to the voice of their own party? No. Do they hand over leadership to someone who has the confidence of the people within the party in a democratic manner? No. Instead, what we still see is power being passed from father to son, from father to daughter, from husband to wife, or from wife to husband. This is how their version of democracy operates. This is how they attempt to structure their politics. Where then is the British tradition they claim to admire? That tradition has now been clearly demonstrated. The current British Prime Minister listened to the voice within his party when there was opposition and accepted that he could not continue leading the government and the party at this moment. He chose to step down with dignity. That is the British tradition. That is what it represents. But in Sri Lanka, when a party leader is challenged, those who challenge that leadership, party members and grassroots leaders, are pushed out and sidelined. This is their democracy. This is their tradition.
Weather first.
The Department of Irrigation states that the water levels of the Kalu and Kalan rivers as well as the Attanagalu Oya are rising due to the prevailing heavy rains. What will the upcoming weather conditions be like?
Tharuni Karunaratne is ready to bring us the latest on this.
Thank you, Naveksha. Sandharu. Well, the Met Department says that several spells of showers can be expected in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces, as well as in the Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts during the next 24 hours. Showers or thunder showers may occur in the Uva province and also in the Ampara and Batiklo districts after as well. Meanwhile, the Met Department also notes that wind speeds in the sea areas of the coasts extending from Kalpitia via Mana to Kankasanture and Gaul via Hambantota to Potuville may increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour at times. Moving on with the prevailing monsoon weather conditions, the number of MOH divisions identified as dengue high-risk zones has risen to 331, according to the National Dengue Control Unit. Its acting director, Dr. Kapila Kannangara, stated that 538 Grama Niladhari divisions have currently been identified as dengue risk areas. The number of dengue cases reported in the country has now risen to 47,530, while 29 dengue-related deaths have been recorded so far this year.
In response to the rapid spread of dengue, a 3-day mosquito control program covering 600 Grama Niladhari divisions will be launched from tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Defence has instructed the Tri-Forces to provide troops and equipment whenever required for ongoing cleaning and mosquito control operations. The ministry stated that based on requests made by divisional secretaries, the nearest military camps have been directed to provide the necessary support. In addition, steps have been taken to deploy military personnel to supervise cleaning operations across all divisional secretariat divisions and districts. The Presidential Media Division stated that a dedicated monitoring unit led by the Tri-Forces will also be established for dengue control. This decision was taken at a discussion held yesterday at the Presidential Secretariat. At the meeting, it was also decided to strengthen legal measures and further enhance dengue control efforts through community-based committees and public safety groups already established at the local level. Meanwhile, in parallel with the National Dengue Prevention Programme, a special dengue control campaign coordinated by the Clean Sri Lanka Secretariat will commence tomorrow. Accordingly, the program is scheduled to be implemented over 3 days on the 24th, 25th and 26th of this month. A media briefing on the initiative was held today at the Presidential Secretariat under the patronage of Presidential Secretary Dr. Nandika Sanath Kumar Naika. The Presidential Secretary stated that the most effective solution at this stage is raising public awareness and encouraging people to maintain clean surroundings, adding that the support of all media institutions will be sought to implement a widespread awareness campaign.
During today's press briefing on cabinet decisions, it was heavily emphasized that mosquito control programs must be carried out continuously if they are to be successful.
If this is done for 3, 4, 5 or 6 days and then stop, the breeding and spread of these mosquitoes will happen all over again. I kindly request everyone to clean your surroundings, especially regarding the school your child attends. We have identified dengue breeding sites in about 41% of locations within the school system. As I mentioned before, around 28% of religious places and about 26% of factories have also been identified as breeding sites. Carry out the necessary interventions for those places. This shouldn't be done just by merely clearing the ground, carrying out those interventions with specific targets in mind to prevent the mosquito population from growing. Because the ultimate solution to this is keeping your own surroundings clean. While higher numbers of patients are being reported at certain times in some hospitals, stretching their capacity, the situation is currently being kept under control.
Meanwhile, a cabinet subcommittee has been appointed to manage the water, electricity and food crises that may arise due to the El Nino condition.
The Cabinet Subcommittee has been appointed to formulate mid-term and annual plans to manage the potential impacts of the El Nino condition, ensure joint operations among all state institutions, and take immediate action to minimize disaster risks by raising public awareness. The subcommittee is chaired by the Minister of Environment, Dr. Dhammika Pattabandi.
The
government has recognized the need to take immediate measures to face the intensity and impact of the El Nino conditions, which have been confirmed by scientific forecasts as likely to occur from the latter part of this year onwards, alongside the effects of climate change. Therefore, to minimize the potential impact, it has been decided to implement a national-level action plan by strengthening coordination among state institutions, local government authorities, non-governmental organizations, the private sector, and community organizations.
Weather first. News first. Main sponsor.
2 countries, 2 degrees within 4 years. Call ACBT.
Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now.
I think controlling
companies also can benefit.
Face to Face, Wednesdays and Sundays at 4 p.m. on TV1.
Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now.
Welcome back to the news. A commission has been appointed through a special extraordinary gazette notification issued by the order of the President to address and resolve existing concerns related to the salaries and pensions of public sector employees and retirees.
It has been established taking into account the long-standing salary anomalies that have arisen over the years and the challenges they pose to public financial management.
The commission appointed to address public sector salary and pension-related concerns consists of 15 members. This commission has been established by the President to identify solutions to existing issues related to salaries and pensions of current public sector employees and retirees. Additionally, the government aims to enhance the professionalism of the public service and to provide recommendations on how the public sector should be structurally reformed in line with new technological trends and global developments. Accordingly, T. Ashoka Piris has been named as the chairman of the commission, while DMC Nalaka Disanayaka will serve as the secretary. The total number of members of the commission, including the chairman, is 15. Honorable Madam Kurupuge Kema and Vidurya Swarnadipati, Alagiyadura, Premalal Abesingha Gunasekara, Nyangama Balasurege Monty Ranatunga, Nadaraj Ravichanda, Dr. Randombage Vimal Jayanta, Dr. Gamlat Mortige Mudit Sujiva, Hattasinnage Tilakavardana, Brigadier Retired Pial Jude Fernando, Ahmad Lebbe Mohammad Mukhtar, Senarat Tissa Bandara Ratnayaka, Abesingha Virakon Lal Chandra Virakon, Gajadira Arachi Pial Patmanatha, Javira Patirana, Koswinnage Sarat Lal Pereira.
10 helicopters donated by the United States officially handed over to the Sri Lanka Air Force today. The official handover of 10 TH-57 Sea Ranger multi-purpose helicopters donated by the government of the United States to enhance the Sri Lanka Air Force's pilot training capacity and expand its air operations took place this afternoon at the Ratmalana Air Force Base. The event was held under the patronage of President Anurakumara Disanayaka, and a bilateral agreement was also signed on the occasion by Commander of the Air Force Air Marshal Bandhu Ediri Singha and Commander of the United States Pacific Air Forces General Kevin Sender. Owing to the versatile capabilities of the TH-57 Sea Ranger helicopters, it is expected that they will be deployed for a range of operational purposes across several sectors in the future.
World Bank Group Country Manager for Sri Lanka and Maldives has warned that Sri Lanka must urgently strengthen its resilience in the face of repeated global and climate-driven shocks while unveiling a major 5-year strategy aimed at driving job creation and economic recovery. He was speaking at the launch of the World Bank Group Country Partnership Framework for Sri Lanka 2026 to 2030, which was held in partnership with the University of Colombo.
First of all, we will need the government to be in the driving seat. That's how it goes. We will need development partners to work with us hand in hand. I believe that this can be only private sector-led growth. Government is an enabler, but it's really private sector that creates jobs and creates these opportunities, or at least majority of them. Working with civil society is so critical to ensure that we get feedback from people of this country and adjust our course. But first and foremost, I think it's really the youth. It's you and many millions of others around the country. It is really your ambition, your creativity, your vision that will shape the future of the country. And we, as World Bank Group, stand ready to support you in making sure that they become a reality.
The launch of the World Bank Group Country Partnership Framework for Sri Lanka 2026-2030, held in partnership with the University of Colombo, highlighted the critical role of youth in driving the country's future economic growth. Discussions focused on creating jobs, fostering innovation, strengthening key sectors such as agriculture, tourism, energy and skills development, and ensuring that economic progress translates into opportunities for all Sri Lankans.
Total bilateral trade between Sri Lanka and the Philippines reached $77.56 million in 2025, with both nations declaring extensive plans to aggressively expand their economic footprint this year. The announcement was made during the 128th Philippine Independence Day and the 65th anniversary of Philippine-Sri Lanka relations, which was commemorated in Colombo yesterday.
Organized by the Consulate General of the Philippines in Sri Lanka, the commemoration of the 128th Philippine Independence Day marks the courage, sacrifices and resilience of heroes who paved the way for the freedom of the Philippines.
A warm round of applause.
Speaking at the event, the ambassador of the Philippines to Sri Lanka emphasized on the relationship between the two countries.
We welcome the initiatives of the Sri Lanka-Philippines Business Council in building bridges between our private sectors, with a scoping visit to Manila in August last year and a planned visit to the Philippines this year. And at the heart of our relations are our peoples. Through friendships, hard work, and shared meals, they bring our nations closer together. We thank Sri Lanka for taking care of the Filipinos who now call this country their second home. In the region, the Philippines, now holding ASEAN's rotating chairship, welcomes Sri Lanka's engagement with ASEAN and its active participation in the ASEAN Regional Forum, particularly in disaster relief, disarmament and non-proliferation, and defense education. The Philippines also values its close engagement with the Colombo Plan, now on the cusp of its 75th anniversary, and proudly hosts the Colombo Plan Staff College, an institution that has helped train generations of technical and vocational leaders in the region.
Dr. Palipanilagi revealed that total bilateral trade between Sri Lanka and the Philippines reached $77.56 million in 2025.
The relationship between the Sri Lanka and Philippines is founded on mutual respect, long-standing people-to-people ties, and shared values. Over the years, our cooperation has continued to grow in many important areas, including trade, labor, education, agriculture, maritime affairs, tourism, and regional cooperation. Let me also express Sri Lankan's sincere gratitude to the government of Philippines and the people of the Philippines for the timely assistance to Sri Lanka for reconstruction and recovery efforts following the devastation caused by Cyclone Bita last year. Sri Lanka is also committed to further deepen trade, investment and tourism ties with the Philippines. The total trade between our two countries in 2025 amounted to $77.56 million, and we believe there is considerable potential to further expand economic cooperation.
The event brought together ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, government officials, business leaders and other distinguished guests.
Today is World Hydrographic Day 2026. Sri Lankan Navy, together with Sri Lanka National Hydrographic Office, marked the day in Valisara to recognize the growing importance of hydrography in supporting maritime safety and ensuring national security concerns and development.
The Sri Lanka National Hydrographic Office, in collaboration with the Sri Lanka Navy, successfully celebrated World Hydrography Day 2026 today in Valisara. The celebration held under the theme declared by the International Hydrographic Organization, Transforming How Ocean Data is Shared, brought together all stakeholders engaged in the discipline of hydrography, senior government officials, diplomats, academia, maritime professionals and industry stakeholders. The ceremony was graced by the Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, retired Air Vice Marshal Sampath Tuyakunta, as the chief guest.
The sea has been closely linked to Sri Lanka's history, prosperity and security. Our island stands at the heart of the Indian Ocean, an ocean that carries the lifeblood of global commerce, sustains our blue economy and anchors our national security. In this context, hydrography is not merely a technical discipline. It is a pillar of national security, a guardian of sovereignty, a foundation of maritime governance, a bridge of cooperation between nations and a foundation for sustainable development. The most important achievement have been the advancement of Sri Lanka's national charting scheme. The ability to produce and maintain nautical charts for our waters is a sovereign responsibility that directly contributes to navigational safety, maritime governance and the national security. It also demonstrates Sri Lanka's commitment to fulfilling its international obligations as a responsible maritime nation. Sri Lanka must therefore embrace interagency collaboration, secure and interoperable data system, partnership with academia and industry, regional and international cooperation, innovation and digital charting, AI and maritime data analytics. We must continue to invest in modern survey technologies, capacity building and professional training, research and innovation, the strengthening of the institutional role of the Sri Lankan National Hydrography Office, and the enhancement of the Navy's hydrographic and oceanographic capabilities.
A significant highlight of this year's celebration was the continued implementation of the National Hydrographic Act enacted in 2024. The legislation provides Sri Lanka with a comprehensive legal framework for hydrographic governance, strengthens national coordination among stakeholders and supports the country's aspirations to become a leading maritime nation in the Indian Ocean region. The celebration also showcased Sri Lanka's growing hydrographic expertise, advanced survey technologies and modern chart production capabilities.
A discussion on draft guidelines on responsible use of AI by the media took place in Colombo today. The event was organized by Sri Lanka's South Asia Women in Media Network.
Sri Lanka's South Asian Women in Media Network today organized a discussion with several media organizations, associations, free media movements and several other media forums to emphasize on the topic use of AI by media.
My point is I think AI is not yet ready to do that kind of very analytical thinking so far.
An overview of the development process and contents of the draft guidelines was presented by researcher Dr. Sanjana Hattatwa.
The press preview of Hydrography was held in Colombo today.
Hydrography is an exhibition exploring diverse letter forms and typographic expressions of Sri Lanka. The press preview of the exhibition took place today at the Jeffrey Bawa space in Colombo.
The exhibition is about letter forms and consciously engaging with letter forms. The exhibition is full of activities, exhibits and things that you can explore letter forms, deeply engage with letter forms and really live with knowing and experiencing letters and letter forms in a way that you probably haven't done before.
Hydrography, curated by the Colombo-based design studio and type foundry Muniak, will be open every week from Wednesday to Sunday from 10:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. till the end of November.
The annual July festival of the historic Madhu Church in Mana began today with the hoisting of the flag.
The flag hoisting ceremony for the July festival of the Mana Madhu Church took place this evening, presided over by the Bishop of the Mana Diocese, Right Reverend Dr. Anthony Pillai Nanaprakasam. The administrator of the Mother Shrine, Reverend Father Pepe Sose, priests and religious sisters of the Mana Diocese and a large number of devotees participated in the flag hoisting event. Following the hoisting of the flag, Holy Mass was celebrated. Novena prayers will be held from today until the 1st of July. The Vespers service will take place on the 1st of July and the festive High Mass will be celebrated on the 2nd of July.
Watch the FIFA World Cup live, where the best football teams in the world compete. Live matches, Rewind TV, highlights, reels. Watch it all for free. Download the Pure mobile app now.
Several thrilling matches in the 2026 FIFA World Cup have now wrapped up, delivering high drama and standout performances.
Viara Virakon brings us the latest action.
Yes, Argentina, France and Norway have all powered their way into the round of 32. Now, in one of the biggest moments of the tournament so far, Argentina captain Lionel Messi etched his name into history, becoming the all-time leading goal scorer in FIFA World Cup history following his performance in yesterday's match. Now, let's take a look.
For primetime news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.